And when you debone a chicken, all right, we already took out the blood and let it drain out, let it basically drain out just a tiny bit. But we also want to make sure that there's not anything left over in there. These are supposed to be pre-cleaned for us, but sometimes you have some extra, liver, heart, something else that wants to be inside there. We want to make sure we get that out because it's not very good for our stock. It has a real like mineral-y taste to it. Not very good for stock. So what you're going to do is just take your hand, reach in, and do sort of a cupping motion back. And as long as you don't get anything special, you're good. Occasionally we get like a little chunk of heart or a little chunk of liver. That's just how it goes. No big deal. All right? We're looking to do 8 parts on our chicken. All right? If you look at the anatomy of a chicken, you've got leg, thigh, you've got your wings, all right, on both sides, legs and thighs on both sides, and 2 chicken breasts. The breast meat is by far the prized thing. We need to do that absolutely perfectly. No hacking, no sawing, nice clean motions. That's what we're looking for. In the middle of this is a breastbone, and there's cartilage that runs down the length. We need to run our knife right along that in order to be able to get the breast meat off properly. Then there's a rib cage. Just like we have rib cage, their rib cage is a little bit different in shape than ours. It comes to a point and then comes around and comes in a rib shape. But our knife needs to follow that. That's why our blade is a little bit flexible. That helps us out being able to do that, all right? There's all different kinds of ways of being able to debone a chicken. The way that I'm showing you is the way I was taught in culinary school. For me personally, it's the easiest way. Chef Lynch and Chef K both have a separate way of doing it. So all 3 of you got 3 chefs and all of us do it differently. So that means there's not one particular right or wrong way to do it. It's more preference than anything. For me, I always say this is the right way for me. All right, so is it right for everybody? No. Is it right for me? Definitely. All right, it's what I'm familiar with and it's what I know the best. All right, so what we're gonna do is use this portion of our knife right here, again, to work through our chicken. It's the sharpest part. It's gonna be the easiest for us to get through. What we don't wanna see is any sawing motions, hacking through. It's consistent motions. And you know how we like to get rid of that dainty finger when we're doing knife cuts? In this case, I want that dainty finger. It's gonna give me some control over where I need to go and some movement, all right? First thing I'm gonna start with is, again, my fingers on my left hand since I'm right-handed are gonna be key to this. I need to feel where those bones are. I need to feel where I'm going because I can't see it. So what I'm gonna do is literally just run my knife right down the center, okay? It's like doing surgery a little bit. Just open it up so you can start to see. And what I'm doing is if my knife is sharp, look at that, I got right through it, no problem. If your knife is not going through the skin very easily, your knife was not sharpened properly, then it's dull, okay? All right, so then I'm feeling through that, and since I'm right-handed, I'm gonna start on the right chicken breast, and I'll work back to the left, okay? So here we go. Run my knife along, I'm running it right next to the bone, right next to that cartilage, and notice a couple things that are happening. After I make a slice, I'm using my left hand to sort of clear things out because I want to be able to continue to see. And the best way to do that is to clear it off a little bit. I'm not sitting there tearing it off, all right? I'm just sitting there and sort of brushing it away. I also am angling my knife ever so slightly into that cartilage and into that bone, so I'm definitely getting close to it. If I try to go with the angle of the bird, I'm going to cut off breast meat and I'm not going to be very happy, all right? So here we go. Continue this process. You'll see too, I don't need to do all of it in one stroke. I gotta be patient. You can see too, take a look, all right, I'll pause. See this cartilage right here? This is what we're following. Once we get to that, our knife's gonna stop. So we can no longer do our sort of straight down or slightly in. Now we need to start angling our blade out, but don't do it too fast, all right? Now I'm gonna actually grab the chicken breast and start gently pulling away. And now I'm gonna follow right along with that, cutting right through that skin. You can cut right along here, getting rid of that skin and allowing it to open up so you can see better. You notice how I have, this is my tenderloin right here. Don't cut the tenderloin off, don't pull the tenderloin off. We want that. It's really good meat. In fact, very expensive in the store, so keep that in place, okay? Continue the process going right along this cartilage and this bone. You'll see that my wing is starting to pop out here. This is where it's going to connect. I'm going to again continue to cut along this just to free it up a little bit. See how the breast is all coming off? And I should be able to see my bones, see my rib cage, which I can. Continue to go through. following that wishbone, because the wishbone, how many of you like to do the wishbone at Thanksgiving?
I do.
Yeah, the wishbone is right here. It runs all along the back portion here. I need to run my knife right along that, so I have it right here, my wishbone. And I can tell already that this one broke off. So in the processing, that wishbone broke off of there. So I'm gonna have to come in between that. Carefully, of course. Just run my knife along it. Once I get to that, I can come back through again on the other side, cut right along, and I have a really, really nice boneless but skin on chicken breast. Leave the skin on, all right? We want the skin because we're gonna make a couple recipes with the skin on. Plus that fat will keep it from drying out when we roast it later, okay? Really nice chicken breast with the tenderloin left on, okay? We'll save that one. Next one, I'll go a little bit faster here. Again, sort of pulling it away. For me, because I'm right-handed, I find that the left side is definitely a little bit more challenging, but once you get used to it, it's not so bad no matter what side you're working on. Again, that wishbone had broken on this particular chicken. If that happens, there's nothing wrong, you didn't do anything wrong, it's just in the processing. Again, I'm sort of pulling this back, cutting the skin, and then once I get toward the end, all I have to do basically is work around that bone that's there. Again, we've got that wishbone. Work right around it. Cut right down through. Skin's gonna be tough. Then I've got myself another whole chicken breast, boneless, skin on, still having my tenderloin. Don't get rid of that, okay? It'll be loose, all right, but it shouldn't fall off. You're gonna take those chicken breasts then, you'll put them into your bag that you have already pre-prepared, again, labeled, dated, all right, put your name on it because we want to partner you up and make sure that you're using your chicken breast, not somebody else's. So I'm putting that on there. Put your chicken breast in really nice, skin side up. And once we're all done, we'll wrap it all up once our gloves are off. We don't want to get that chicken all over our bag. So don't wrap them up until you've cleaned your hands and everything. We're curling that bag down so we can get to it and not have to worry about that mess. All right, next part. So to me, this is the fun part, all right? We need to get those legs and thighs off. And they're the tougher meat. It's tougher bones. So guess what? We can see all this here, and there's some meat up here. That's good. We want that for our stock. A little bit of meat left on, but I want to be able to see the bones. With this, I want to get as much as I can. There's only one way. I feel the joint there. I need to pop it in order to be able to make sure that I can get to it. So what am I going to do? Thumb right at that joint, fingers underneath, and pop it out so the bone breaks, okay? Shouldn't say the bone, the joint technically. Do it on the other side, pop it out, there's my bone. Now it makes my life a lot easier. And see how limp they are? That's a good thing, okay?
Just like technically,
so here we go. Put your knife right in between there and cut straight down as close to that carcass as you can. Pull the whole thing off.
This seems easy.
It is. As long as you pop it properly, it should be. And again, use your knife to get down in between those joints and cut straight across. Okay? Again, keep the skin on. Don't pull it off. That keeps it nice and moist when we go to roast it later. Okay? Next step to that process, though, is I want you guys to turn them into individual legs and thighs. In order to do that, there's a line of fat that runs right like this. You just see it a little bit right through there, and if you put your finger in there, there's a joint. We want to put our knife right in between that joint, but we can't pop them. The joints just don't pop properly that way. So what we want to do is find that joint, and where it is, right there, see if I can get it in there. There we go. Okay? Once you get in the right spot, pops right off, no big deal. Again, there's a fat line right here. Fat line that runs right through. We want to cut right along that, feeling where that joint is. Cut right through. If it's not going through easily like I had that first one, and you know that you're not quite in the right spot, just readjust your knife. No big deal, it happens. The fat line is just a simple guide. It is not a guarantee. So that's why the first one that I did, the fat line was sort of off a little bit. Your knife's not going to go through it. Just readjust it and feel where you're at, okay? Those will also then go into your pre-prepared bag. Keep it as clean as possible. Remember, you're going to have 2 bags. I only have 1. Lay those back down. And we'll readjust them and again close it up once we're all done. Last but not least, the wings. So for the wings, I generally just give them a little twist. That loosens them up a little bit. Come back in, cut them right off at that joint. Just like that. But we want to get rid of what we call the wing tips. These little guys here, they're not good for eating, but they have cartilage in them and they have collagen that we want to get. So basically just come right back through, cut those off, right at that knuckle. You're going to take these little wing tips, put them back into the carcass. Your carcass goes into your pan. Bless you. Goes back into your pan, and then your wings, basically just separate them out for me. So we can have little, they're actually called drumettes, right? And we're just going to come back through. Cut right through, creating little tiny drumettes. Just like that. Those are good eat, right, for parties? Definitely. Then, Elizabeth, you'll open that bag for me and just turn it out for me. You're going to put all of your wings in this bag. So we're going to do a communal bag for the whole group, right, just for the wings. You guys are going to do this twice, don't forget. Carcasses all go in here. We're not labeling the carcasses. Each team will just get 4. All right, so don't worry about labeling carcasses and putting them in bags. Just the breast meat, legs, thighs, and then the wings I already have labeled for you. Okay? All set?